Today was a historic day in the markets as it marked Coinbase, the largest crypto exchange in the world, going public via a direct listing on the NASDAQ. And on its debut, Coin opened at nearly a $100 billion market cap, which is the largest ever valuation for a direct listing on the NASDAQ. And building up to today, we had a lot of hype. Bitcoin broke out to fresh new all-time highs in anticipation of this listing. YouTubers were making videos all over the place on Coinbase and what prices they would be buying this at. Heck, even Tesla broke out yesterday in anticipation for Coinbase going public because, as you know, Tesla holds some Bitcoin as well. And while everything summed up today, it all came down to this, and Coinbase finally went public at around 1:25 p.m. Eastern. That was when you and I could go on our brokerage account and buy Coinbase stock under the ticker symbol COIN coin. But guys, as it went public, the excitement was short-lived. After an initial pop to nearly $4.25 per share, the stock sold off sharply and closed down near its lows at $328.28 a share. Bitcoin also saw some sharp selling after Coinbase was listed as it tried to hold on to its highs but just couldn't. Even Tesla here saw some aggressive selling after the listing of Coinbase, and Square as well after that 1:25 p.m. mark. And of course, MicroStrategy, a Bitcoin heavy stock, got decimated today, down over 13% and closed near the lows. Needless to say, even though there was so much anticipation and hype for this day, it was not the best of days for people who were expecting a good IPO here, people who like cryptos, people who like Bitcoin, people who are in assets tied to Bitcoin. Not a great day overall. So, needless to say, I think this IPO was kind of a bust. Wasn't as exciting as a lot of us were expecting. And I think a lot of this contributed to the recent sell-off we've seen in the last couple of months or so, where the SPAC bubble pretty much popped and a lot of investors got burned on high growth stocks or highly speculative stocks. And of course, with tech correcting, it was just a whole slew of events of a lot of red, and that scared off a lot of retail investors. But guys, if you're still here watching, listen up, because this may actually be a blessing in disguise. For those of us who kind of sat patiently, let the IPO come out, let it do its thing, let the stock, surge up, fall down, we just watching on the sidelines, we have an opportunity on our hands. So here's what Coinbase reported about a week ago as estimated results for Q1 2021. They have verified users on their platform of 56 million. They have monthly transacting users, or MTUs, of 6.1 million. The assets on their platform sits at 223 billion, which is around 11.3% of the total crypto market. But more importantly, this includes $122 billion of assets from institutions. This means that institutions feel that Coinbase is safe enough to throw billions of their dollars into to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever crypto they're buying. And that speaks volumes for the platform that Coinbase has built in terms of security and stability. Institutions aren't like retail investors where they go gamble their money away, throw in YOLO, all that kind of stuff. They wait for things to kind of stable out, and then they start putting their money in. And that's what we've been seeing over the last few years, and a lot of it has been done on Coinbase. So now, because of this IPO flop today, because the markets have not been so hot recently, a lot of people have, this fear, this perception that this could be kind of the peak for Coinbase. They're not going to have as good of a quarter or a year as they did last year. Things pretty much got as good as they were going to get, and it was a fun ride. So Coinbase recognized this. They recognized that in the last few weeks, last couple of months really, the markets have just been kind of cooling off. Crypto, Bitcoin has slowly been going higher, but the overall market, especially the stock market, has cooled off quite significantly. So they came out with some guidance numbers of what they expect the monthly transaction users will be for this year. They have three cases. The first is the high-end case where they expect 7 million monthly transacting users, which would be a nice bump up from the 6.1 million today. Then they have the mid case of 5.5 million users, and this would signal a slight decrease, which is a realistic possibility now that we're considering, the cool down in the overall markets. Then you have the low case of 4 million MTUs, which, guys, is quite unlikely in my opinion, because even in a cooler market, there are still new people discovering the platform, still new people discovering Bitcoin, and if anything, this should keep things relatively stable or fairly close to the mid case in worst case in my opinion. So my prediction is I think for maybe the next quarter, we'll kind of see a lull. We may see users kind of stabilize. Maybe we see a slight decrease in users. But I think that in the back half of this year, we have a good possibility, not only Bitcoin running to $100,000 per coin, but a whole surge of new investors coming in to buy Bitcoin and possibly other cryptos as well. If that happens and if that theory comes true, guess what? A lot of these people are going to use Coinbase as the default platform, and that's going to drive a lot more users, a lot more transactions, and a lot more money for this business. But regardless, that's all what we're expecting in the future. In Q1, they had some amazing numbers. They're expecting close to $1 billion in net income, and this is in a 3-month span, meaning at this rate, they can pull in nearly $4 billion in net income in 2021. This, guys, is a profit machine business, and that's why so many investors are interested in participating here. Now, to generate this much net income, they expect revenues to come in at $1.8 billion in this quarter and around $7.2 billion for the year 2021. But those numbers alone don't really show you the scale, the magnitude of things. I gotta put things into perspective here for you guys. In 2019, the company had $534 million in revenue. 2020, that grew to $1.28 billion. And now in 2021, it's expected to hit $7.2 billion, which is over a 400% growth clip. If we model out this to a modest, and this is like extremely modest, sandbagging estimates of 50% growth year over year going forward, then we can see Coinbase is trading at a very cheap price of sales relative to its growth and profitability. And remember, this is with a super conservative growth estimate. If we raise to like a 75% year over year or 100% year over year, which is very possible, those numbers come down drastically and it gets even more cheaper. I think that the risk investors are seeing with this is that they don't know if the growth Coinbase has seen in the last year is really sustainable. Because things are cooling down in the market, investors are questioning whether the crypto market has kind of seen its best days, or even if it continues going higher, will it continue on the trajectory that it has in the past? That's kind of the question up in the air. That's kind of one of the main risks right now. And the reason I keep making references to Bitcoin and the crypto market doing well is because Coinbase success is tied directly to that. If people are not trading Bitcoin, Coinbase is not going to make as much money. Simple as that. And here's the interesting thing. When we do these models, for growth, price of sales, that kind of stuff, we're looking at businesses that are typically, somewhat like very little profitability, some profitability. A lot of times they're highly non-profitable business. They're losing millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. But in this case, you have a business that is highly profitable, one of the most profitable businesses I've probably ever seen, especially for such a young company. So because of that, I'm starting to see this as a possible huge opportunity long term. Now, the other risk that I've heard, been thrown out there is what happens when other major brokers start offering buying Bitcoin on their platform, like say Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, whatever, pick your favorite broker. What if you can just go on there and search for Bitcoin and buy it directly? Doesn't that make Coinbase kind of irrelevant? And the answer is, yeah, it's gonna add competition, but how do all these other brokers survive? Robinhood is actually a really good example. It came out with like a no commission model, and a lot of people flocked to that. And then all the other brokers said, okay, we'll do no commission as well, but Robinhood still keeps growing. I think Coinbase is going to be very similar. A lot of people flock to it because it's the best platform for cryptos right now. And as long as they keep executing, I don't think there's a lot of fear of people shifting over to other brokers when they start offering cryptos as well. Another thing is that Coinbase has tons of different cryptos you can trade. These other platforms, if and when they do offer crypto, I think they'll probably keep it to like the basic Ethereum and Bitcoin. I don't think you're gonna see more of these speculative ones on there personally. So if you're interested in investing in Coinbase, listen up. Now, I wanna preface this by saying this is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. If you're gonna go invest in this company, this could be down 50% tomorrow. Don't come on here and start complaining to me because I'm giving you a fair warning. Do your own due diligence. So I think that if you want to ride this possible golden era for cryptocurrency, Bitcoin specifically, and you don't want to own the asset directly for whatever reason, the risks involved, no regulations, lack of insurance, or maybe you find it's too volatile to own the crypto directly, Coinbase is the perfect way to get exposure to this. It is literally a crypto exchange. It is literally tied to cryptocurrencies, and not just one cryptocurrency, pretty much every cryptocurrency out there. So you're getting wide exposure through a business that is highly profitable and growing massively. It's kind of the best of all worlds in my opinion, and that's why I really like what I see here. So again, I think that this company is trading at a fairly cheap value today because of the perceived risk with the assets tied to it. Bitcoin is still considered risky, it's still considered volatile, it's still considered something that we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Is it going to get regulated? Is it going to get banned? Is it going to be able to survive? These are all questions that investors are asking, and a lot of people are staying away from it for that reason. However, if you're looking at value, you're looking at fundamentals, you're looking at growth, you're looking at a good business here for exposure to the space, do not sleep on Coinbase. Do some research on it because it is looking like a very appealing investment. As for me, I'm not sure if I'll be buying this. We'll see. I'll definitely be posting it to my VIP members in the Discord. If you're interested in joining, check the link description down below. And I'm looking for it, say, under $100 billion market cap. I think that's reasonable for a long-term hold. This is not something I plan to buy today, sell tomorrow. If I do buy in, it's going to be for like a 5 to 10 year plus hold. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below. What did you think of Coinbase's IPO today? Were you, disappointed? Were you expecting it? Did you buy in? Love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.